Hi everyone, my guest for this episode is NYC brand owner Victor Samuel. He is the founder of the fashion brand Vellion. You can view their apparel and accessories on Vellion's website, vellionnyc.com, and their Instagram at VellionOfficial. So thank you so much for coming on, Victor.
My pleasure.
We met you through, I think, Black April, the
Yes,
brand, and
yeah.
this is how we contacted you, and you said yes, so thank you so much for being on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the style of your brand.
So our style is pretty much we are more of like a casual evening wear where, we try to give people the options to feel, themselves and be able to enjoy just going out and living like a lifestyle that they enjoy. And that's what our brand represent pretty much.
Right. So you founded Vellion this year in 2020, correct? When did you begin preparation for your brand?
So before Vellion, became a vision or an idea, it was, I had other previous experiences running different businesses, with my fashion company. But Vellion became like this idea because of like my personal struggles and having to discover the Vellion. The meaning of Vellion really is the powerful warrior,
Okay.
and that represent just overcoming obstacles that we face on a daily basis. So this is why Vellion is a lifestyle brand more than just I guess people consider luxury, but it's more of a lifestyle brand. Yeah.
Right, because you feel like it incorporates that aspect of mentality into it as well. Okay,
Correct, yeah.
interesting. So before you started Vellion, I read that you were a member of the U.S. Air Force Command, a billing analyst, and then author. What motivated you to start a fashion brand?
So I know like my career is like everywhere,
Yeah.
Fashion has always been something that I enjoy personally, and just at the age of 5, I grew rapidly into the wearing stuff that like reminds me of who I am internally, because I feel like within us as people we do have something that drives us, and I feel like fashion was one of those things that have like continues to prepared me to be who I am today. I remember like as a kid, I would wear like suits or something, and everybody would be like, "Oh, I love that." Even to today, like people like see my outfit and they're like, "I love it." So I'm like, "Okay, why not? Why not start a company where I can showcase my work as well as also making other people feel good." So
Right. So when you were younger, like it never crossed your mind like dedicating yourself into something in the fashion industry?
No.
No, it was more of like you liked caring
Just
about how
dressing
you
up.
dressed.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people like something switches in them, and they're one day they're like, oh wow, I didn't realize I actually had such a large interest in this thing.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. You have a degree in finance from Baruch College. Do you feel that this background has helped you?
Funny enough, a lot of people do ask that question, and finance is so. I grew up in a culture where I'm Nigerian, so I grew up in a culture where it's mainly your parents are, they tell you like, you gotta do X, Y, and Z. Like, art is not really considered something that you can make money out of.
Yeah.
Even today in our society, a lot of people think, oh, if you're in art, you're not doing, you're not really making any money. So finance was the option that I chose because as a kid or in high school, I loved numbers. So I figured I did accounting for like 2 years. I hated it. So I moved into finance thinking it would be better, but it wasn't. But finance is something I think in terms of business aspects, it has helped me a lot in knowing a lot of things when it comes to business and being able to, be able to do certain things within my business, whether it's setting up the business or like the taxes and all that stuff. I'm able to learn certain things. So I think in that aspect, finance is something that have helped me a lot. Yeah.
Right. So would you recommend like other brand owners or like even designers take a course or like take some sort of like education or training in like finance?
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. I think because it's one thing to have a brand or have a business, but if you don't know the financial aspect of it, because that's your bottom line at the end of the day. So if you don't know that aspect of it, it's gonna affect everything else you run. It's good to have people who manage it, but it's also good as individual, as person who owns your craft, to be able to just kind of dive deep into it and just learn a thing or two, because you never know. You know, you don't want people to play you with your money and stuff.
Definitely,
so I think it's important to have that.
Also, I feel like, I don't know if you did like work for other people, but like in terms of finance, but this is like your livelihood in a way, especially if you dedicate yourself entirely to it. I'm sure that you want to be aware of what's going on in like terms of finance, and it's probably a little scary if that's like your only form of like, you know, living. So yeah, I feel like it definitely is something that people should take into account. So how did you decide what products you wanted to sell? You said you were into like fashion since you were like younger, and yeah, like how did you decide, oh, I want to sell apparel and accessories?
I think that would come with, you know, just because I personally, I love to dress, you know, sometimes I do dress like formal with tie and everything, but my daily outfit will be casual. So hence the reason why we're doing more of a lifestyle than we are like, you know, doing like, you know, ball gown or something.
Right.
So with that being said, I feel like if I'm wearing, I want people to see what I'm wearing, right? So if I'm wearing something and they see it and they like it, they also can have it. And that's the idea behind that. I don't want to like wear something and then somebody's like, oh, where did you get that? And then I can't tell them. I mean, I could, but it's like, okay, but that's not my thing, though, you know? So I feel like being able to share that experience with people is the driving force behind it.
Right. So do you feel like you put a lot of your own personal style into your products?
Yep.
Right. Okay.
It's like the design that I have on this shirt. I actually designed it. I drew it myself.
Oh, okay.
So that it came like my inspiration for it. You know, is like I want people to also feel that. You know, so that's one thing. Like I don't want to put something out that I wouldn't wear, and then, I mean, you might like it, but if I don't like it, I won't recommend it to you.
If you don't feel your own product, yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, for this particular shirt, where did the inspiration come from?
So the inspiration is, so we're talking about like, so as you can see here, so the bird, for example, this is like an idea of like the world we live in, right? Like everything evolves around each other. And that's what the idea, the inspiration is really like. It's just depicting what us as human and as a species in this planet Earth, like we just evolve around each other. So you can't have one without the other. You know, you can have nature without human. You can have human without nature. So I think that's just the way the inspiration came about.
I saw that you also have on your website the bracelets, and I know one said 2020 vision. So where did the inspiration for those come from?
The 2020 vision was actually discovered based on the idea of Vellion itself. Vellion was like is a stepping stone for myself and my team. So we figured, you know, this is a new start, really. So 2020 was. It's like when you think about your vision, you know, it's like, you know, you have the most clarity. So that's where the idea is, and we felt like Vellion have achieved that. So that's the reason why we have 2020 vision bracelet. Yeah. Okay,
so it's sort of like you see what you want your brand to be about, and it was clear what you wanted to achieve.
Absolutely.
With it. So your packaging and presentation really gives like a feel of your brand. Like I actually really like your packaging. When I was going through Instagram, I was like, oh wow, you know, it looks fancy. It makes everything look upscale. So how important do you think packaging is, like when creating a product?
That's, you know, packaging is one of the most important. You know, it's a very delicate. You can have the great product, right? But I feel that if you don't have the right packaging, people are gonna forget you so easily. Two, you're gonna have people who will be like, you know, like I mean, yeah, the product is great, but it just came like in this little bag or whatever. So if you think about Amazon, and I like to use Amazon as an example because I personally study their like their system, like how they do certain things, which allowed me to be able to like execute this properly. So Amazon, every package you get from Amazon always has that Amazon,
Right.
you know,
The smile.
logo. Exactly, the smile, the logo, everything is on there. So you know when you come home that if you see Amazon box that, oh,
You're like,
okay,
"Oh, it's
my
what I
product
ordered
is
from
here,
Amazon."
you know,
Yeah.
exactly. So this is the same idea we're trying to create for our
Right.
brand, you know, be able to like show people like, okay, you order something from us, and when you get the mail, it's not just gonna come in a plain box. You're gonna see our logo on your stuff,
And
so
you
that way
know
you know that
you
we,
got your products from
exactly.
Vellion, right?
Yep.
So when you were creating these products, I don't know if you use suppliers. You probably use like,
Yeah.
how hard was it to find like these resources and suppliers?
With the supply, so with suppliers, I think it's a little bit of research, just finding the right people. You always want to make sure that you have people who are easy to work with,
Right.
because you know in business, you know, not saying that everybody are not, but it's just, you know, when you have a certain timeline for something, you want to be able to make sure that you receive your product
Right. You
in
want them to be
time.
reliable. Yeah.
Exactly. So you need that constant communication, and I feel like just a little bit of research will go a long way in achieving that. There's gonna be a lot of people who will probably come by and say, "Oh, I'll help you do X, Y, and Z," but you have to know what is your structure, how are you planning to execute that particular structure. So with that in mind, you know your timeline, you know everything. So you just have to be able to make sure that whoever your supplier is, that you communicate that effectively with them. If they're meant to be the right people for you with your business, great. If not, just find somebody else. Don't settle down on one particular person. I think that's just,
Right.
yeah.
So from like when you first got this idea for like Vellion to like when you launched your first product, how long was that process?
It took us, so you're looking at, so Vellion official was established like in January of this year, right?
Okay.
So it took us up until May to actually get like our sample product. So
Oh, okay.
the reason being is when you feel the quality of our product, it's not just like any t-shirt, right? Like any other brand would have out there. We put in a lot of time in terms of research, making sure that we're providing the same quality as every other like luxury brand out there, but
Right.
at an affordable price.
Okay.
So that idea is what we're trying to like show people, like, okay, you can feel good. You don't have to spend too much money. The quality, the feel of everything is gonna be right. It's just at your, to save you money. That's pretty much what our idea is, to save people money without having to like, because luxury brand, they cost like thousands of dollars.
Right.
I mean, average person don't have $1,000
Yeah,
to just
exactly.
buy a t-shirt or like I don't know, whatever out there. But so this is why we're trying to provide that. So it takes a lot of research in order for us to get to that point, and making sure that we are providing the best quality. So that's why you see that timeline in between, to make sure, and even before we arrive to the final decision, we had to do different samples from different places just to make sure that we have the right
that
stuff.
you wanted to make sure like, oh yeah, this is the one we're gonna go with,
Exactly.
and you didn't end up missing out on like
No.
a better option, right?
Yeah.
So I know it's probably, no one really likes talking about the subject because everyone kind of had to deal with it, but you started your brand right a little bit before
I know.
coronavirus hit. So what was that like? How did this affect, the production
business?
process and everything? Yeah.
I'll say that we are very fortunate. Our situation is a little unique, and that is one thing I love about like Vellion itself. That again, it goes back to the whole reason why we started it. Coming from a place where you feel like you've lost all hope, but you have this idea, this 2020 vision, no point intended, to create something, and which that became Vellion. I felt like this year we've been very lucky because as much as everything else is going around, like going on, Vellion still find a way to just continue to like
Right.
strive, and that's one thing I love about it. We get a lot of. It's crazy because we've had a lot of partnership that are like happening right now, and we also have like NFL footballer who's wearing our
Oh,
stuff,
okay.
and so
Right.
it's like we're just being like lucky. So I
Right.
think well, I won't say lucky. It takes preparation to
Right.
get to that point. So I think the execution of everything up until this moment has allowed us to be able to like see what is going on and just kind of embrace it. And I personally, being the owner, I try not to stress about, because at the end of the day, if something is gonna work, it's gonna work. If it's
Right.
not, it's just at least you try. So, and that's the standpoint. I try not to force anything. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So I saw on your website that your team is made up of two other people. Daisy
Buffone.
Beffonet. I'm
Yeah, it's
sorry.
like
Yeah.
a French
It's French,
accent.
yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, I think it's French. She's co-founder and director of finance, I
Mhm.
believe, and Tyree Brown,
Yep.
creative director and development strategist.
Yep.
How did you put this team together?
So I'll start with Daisy. Daisy is like my fiance. So when I started the business, it was, of course, this is like my idea. Like I love fashion. She's not really into fashion, but I put her on the business because of I need somebody with finance
Right.
background, and being that we both study finance, and some things I can just push her away without having to worry about it. So, but outside of that, she is tremendous actually when it comes to researching.
Right.
So the fabric for this shirt, she was actually the one who came up with the research and the quality and all that stuff. So it's great to have her on the team. And Tyree Brown, he lives in Texas, and we went to school, like high school, and being that we have this connection, and he's very brilliant when it comes to like being able to provide like ideas for
Right.
like our next coming stuff that's coming out. He's actually the one who suggested, who put all that stuff together. So it's great to have like different minds
Right.
working, because so it goes back to the previous two companies I used to run by myself. Being that I used to run that myself, I had I wouldn't be able to like fully create stuff. So having him as the creative director and being able to help with all that aspect, it allows me to just focus more on the management aspect of
Right.
things. Like example, if there's a deal or like a partnership, I'm pretty much, I have to be in front of that, so without having to like stress them out with all the other logistics. So
Right.
it's great to have different people just working with you. I think that's yeah.
What is something you wish you knew before starting a brand?
So I think one of two things I would say is the marketing aspect of things. I think a lot of businesses do go through those stage where it's like, okay, I have the product now, I can put it out, but how do I market this product effectively so that
Right.
people can actually purchase it? And I think this is what I've struggled for like the past 4 years, trying to really understand and like come to grasp with. And this year is just being very, looking at those things, like the past mistakes that I did and the structure in which that I did those things, have allowed me to better manage Vellion today, to be the way it is right now. And that comes with, like I said, the marketing aspect and being able to structure properly. So before I would like usually like get all the products in, and before even thinking about like doing any kind of promotion or marketing. But now it's like taking it back and just doing a little bit more promotion,
Right.
right? And then the marketing comes, of course, after you have the product, because once people start ordering, you need to be able to send those stuff to them.
Right.
So being able to structure those things effectively have allowed us to be able to reach different people that we've been able to reach as of today. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
So do you feel that maybe marketing more, or at least marketing while you were creating the product, would
Mhm.
have helped you?
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Okay.
And and marketing is not something that it's not like you don't like get a full grasp of it immediately,
Right.
especially if as a small business, because the problem with, well, not the problem, but like the hurdles that a lot of small businesses face is financially,
Right.
because everything is
Definitely.
run by the people who found it.
Right.
Not, they don't have like outside
Like
sources
investors. Yeah.
helping. So with that in mind, you have to work within your budget, and I feel like having marketing, on at least a little bit of understanding of it would help a long way. We might not have thousands of dollars to put into like billboards, but the little that we have, I think it has helped us a lot in terms of getting to this point. So
Right, and I feel like there's small things too that sometimes are overlooked, like how you said an NFL player like appeared wearing they purchased your item and stuff like that. I feel like social media is overlooked sometimes by
yes,
like older and like bigger brands, especially like luxury brands.
true.
So it's kind of, I feel like social media, especially for smaller brands, is where it's at.
It's
It
yeah,
definitely is, because
absolutely.
it's pretty much free. Like obviously
Absolutely.
you pay for like promotions on Instagram, but they're not that much money.
Mm-mm.
So it definitely is like something that I feel brands haven't completely tapped into, but for
Absolutely, I
small
do
brands, it's
agree.
where it's at.
I
Yeah.
do agree with that. Absolutely, and with that is like, because it allows, and the good thing, that's the good side of like we were saying offline. The good thing about technology is that you get all this perks of information. It's like you have YouTube. You can
Right.
go on there, like watch stuff that you want to know, and it's easy. You pick it up, right? And I think social media, like you said, have really been a tremendous help when it comes to like helping small businesses to get out there in front of people, because the as much as the age of billboards are still alive, social media I feel like has taken a big percentage of that and
Right.
allowing
Definitely.
all the small businesses to thrive. So yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
What are 5 tips for people who want to create their own brand or are thinking about it?
So one, I would say, before you get into anything, research, um, because you don't want to just jump into something and not know exactly what you're getting yourself
Right.
into. So research is one, that would be key. Two would be, this. Once you research and you get to the point of making the decision of what you want to put out, you have to now think about what are the demographic of people that you're trying to target, right? Age, race, gender, whatever. You have to look into those things, and then once you decide that part, whether the age range is 18 to 25, then you have to. I mean, again, it goes back to doing the research. What are those people? What are they into? What do they
Right.
wear? All that stuff. And now you have to focus on how do you target them? How do you make sure that they are aware of what you're providing? Because you can have great product and you can say these are the age group, but if you're not targeting them properly, in terms of marketing or promotion, they would not know who you are. And
Right.
I think that would be the third key, just being able to market effectively. And also, the other thing is be willing to just do stuff for free.
Right.
Because starting out, because a lot of people, or I won't say a lot of people, but some people want to, get money right away. And it's not. Oftentimes, it's not how businesses operate. Businesses operate on, I don't know if you've heard of, like, you, in order to get $1, right, you have to at least give $10
Right.
away, right? So that's just, a scenario for lack of terms. But you have to be able to, be willing to give out a lot of stuff for free. Not to the point, of course, that your bottom line is affected,
Right.
but you have to be able to say, okay, how does this help my business grow? And when you think about those things, and of course, it's not just anybody. You have to. It goes back to being structured, knowing exactly how to properly execute your business in order to make sure that you as well is getting the benefit as well as other people who are partaking in your experience. So
Right.
that'll be 4. 5 is just continue creating. You want to be able to show people what you're made of, really. And if let's say you have, if you're a business, you just have to be able to like continue to like show people like what is the next thing that is coming up, for your business. And if you're the owner of that business, for myself, I can say, I'm at a place right now where I'm trying to rebrand myself as a person, to show people like, fashion did not just happen. Like, it's not something that I just woke up and like, decided to pursue. It's something that is innate in me. That's something that I've always wanted to do. So, and I just want to show people like the different aspects of who I am. So
Right.
I think being able to showcase that allows people to say, okay, yeah, it makes sense.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, is there anything that you would like to plug in that you have coming up for Vellion or yourself?
So for Vellion, we have our spring and summer collection coming out next year. Date, we don't know yet, but
Right.
we are, just tune in, subscribe, and that way you'll be able to like get information on when we'll put those things out. And possibly we might be having pop-up shops as well. So
Okay.
these are like really cool things we have in the pipeline, and I'm excited about it, and I can't wait for the people to see it as well. And for me personally, just working on my next book.
Right,
So,
yeah. So shout out, you are a poet.
Yeah.
So you can check that out too as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
So, that's what I'm working on right now personally. So yeah, just stay tuned, follow us, and you won't miss a beat.
Right. So
Yeah.
yeah, let us know when the next collection
Absolutely,
is coming out.
absolutely.
We will promote it everywhere.
Absolutely.
Trust and believe. Yeah.
I would
so.
definitely put you guys on the hook. So yeah.
Yeah, right. So
Definitely.
thank you so much for coming on, Victor.
A pleasure.
It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
having you. So thank you.
Likewise. Thank you so much.